About a year ago, I picked up a bulk loader in a thrift store and I paid $10 for it. I knew nothing about bulk loading or any of this stuff, and I thought, for $10, I'll see what I get. Well, I got lucky. It was probably full, close to full, with Tmax 400, expired 30 years ago, probably, according to my calculations. I can't tell exactly. I mean, literally, this is what I bought. So anyway, I started shooting it, and I decided on shooting it at ISO 100. I was very happy with the results. A little grainy, but I like that. Now, it's running out of film. It's probably got a half a roll left in there, maybe a roll of film left in there. So I need a new roll of Tmax 400. So I went and priced it. It's 170 bucks for Tmax 400. I'm probably not going to spend that kind of money on a new roll of film. I want to get something a little more cost effective. So Arista EDU 100 cost $65 for a 100-foot roll. Went out and bought a roll of Arista, which as far as I know is the same as Fomapan 100. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a test. I know years ago I did a test on YouTube, and if you haven't seen it, you can click here and I'll link to that. I did 10 stops under and 10 stops over, and this time I decided the 10 stops under, you can't underexpose film. It doesn't work very well, but you can overexpose film quite a bit. So you know what? I'm going to do 12 stops over. So in this test, I did 5 stops under and 12 stops over for a total of, let's see, 12, there, 13 plus, for a total of 18 stops over and under exposing. And I am amazed at the results. And you can guess. What are the results? Underexposing, as before, stinks. Overexposing was amazing. Remember, this is cheap film, very inexpensive film, and you know, it says lots of latitude, but what exactly does that mean, lots of latitude? I wanted to find out. What I did was brought the images into Photoshop and adjusted the contrast and brightness best I could to get it to look like a usable image, okay? If you could recover from extreme overexposure or extreme underexposure. So let's take a look. All right, here is the scene. It's a sunny day, got some shadows on this road, and you've got this dark, it's an old rusty tractor. So here is the digital image, digital color, digital black and white. And there we go. We start with the perfectly exposed image. You can see in the dark areas, it's dark. You can't really see much there, but in the bright areas, there's very clear definition between lights and darks, and the grass is nice and clear. Okay, now we're going to start to go down one stop. Not a lot of difference. -2 stops. Now you can start to see the images, the dark areas are starting to disappear. 3 stops, the dark area is very washed out, very, very muddy. 4 stops, I would never use this image. 5 stops is pretty much just garbage. So when you underexpose Arista EDU 100, you're not going to get a very good image. Okay, what about overexposing? Here it's 1 stop overexposed, 2 stops overexposed, 3 stops overexposed, and you'll see that the image is still very usable at 3 stops, okay? 4 stops overexposed, 5 stops overexposed. You see that the road in the background, which is the bright area, is still very viewable. The tractor is still dark, the light areas are still light. The grass, let's see here. If we go back to the normal exposed image, you'll see the grass is very clear. But when we go to the overexposed, the grass quickly gets lost. 6 stops, 7 stops. Okay, now at 6 and 7 stops, you're starting to get a pretty grainy image. You're starting to lose some of the detail clearly, but you can still see separations between light and dark areas, which amazes me, which says to me this is still a very usable film at extreme overexposures. Let's keep going. 8 stops, really good. 9 stops, again, really good. We're starting to lose it in the highlight areas, but it's still a very usable image. 10 stops overexposed. Wow, that's really impressive. I mean, you can still see the grass, you can see the tractor. I mean, it's starting to blur up and just overall lose things, but everything's still kind of there. Anyway, 11 stops, is that right? Yeah, 11 stops, and as far as I went was 12 stops. Now, 12 stops is pretty far. What happens at very, very high exposures is that the light bleeds over to the next frame because the camera isn't really made for shooting at such a high overexposure rate. If you look at the negatives here, they're all just kind of blended together. So you can see the edges are not real clear. And then here I went to a normal stop, the overexposed area on the left here, light leaking into this frame here. So let's go back. 12 stops over. This is a normal image. So, okay, the normal image is obviously clearer and more recognizable, but the 12 stops over is still a recognizable photograph, and you can still use it, in my opinion, depending on obviously what your need is. I used the Canon EOS 650, which according to my research, is the first EOS camera that Canon put out. And I tell you what, if you're looking for a good deal on a used film camera, this is a very good deal. I think with a lens and a really good conditioned body, you can easily buy these for under $100 shipped. Very impressed with this camera. I also went out and shot some portraits of my granddaughter. I was not happy with the results that Arista EDU gave me with portraits. Let me show you. So here's the scene in color. Okay, digital camera in color. You can see she's a baby. She's got baby soft skin, which you'd expect. We go to the Arista photograph, and what happened to her cheeks? They got some kind of strange blotchy color on it. It's not, in my opinion, this does not flatter her at all. I would suggest, if you're shooting Arista EDU, I would suggest just generally overexposing it by one stop. I think you're going to get better results. If you don't overexpose it by one stop, I would suggest leave it in the developing tank a little longer to get those dark areas a little bit brighter. As a comparison, here's a picture taken with some of my expired Tmax, and her skin looks fine. There's no issue there. It's very grainy, of course, but because it's expired a long time ago, your mileage may vary. Just to let you know, I am not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not an expert film guy. I'm kind of learning. As I learn, I share what I learn. So hopefully this helps you out, and you can pick up some Arista EDU. I think for the price, you can't beat this film. It's less than half of what Kodak Tmax is charging. So I would recommend this film. Hopefully this has helped you out, and we will see you in the next video.